All right, everyone, let's get into this because Shaquille O'Neal is pushing back against Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, and the critics who keep saying LeBron James has spent his career stacking the odds in his favor and chasing championships. The whole conversation around ring culture has, in my opinion, changed the way greatness is judged. These days, it feels like a player's entire legacy is measured by the number of titles they win, even though basketball is still a team sport. A superstar can be incredible, but if the organization has a weak front office or fails to build a competitive roster around him, that's not something he can fully control. Basketball has also evolved into a completely different era. I still have Michael Jordan as my greatest player of all time, but I also recognize that today's NBA operates very differently from the one he played in. Take Scottie Pippen, for example. Considering how frustrated he became with the Bulls over the years, it's hard to imagine him staying for the entire run of Jordan's prime if he were playing in today's league. Modern teams would have gladly offered someone with Pippen's talent the chance to lead his own franchise on a massive contract. We've already seen players like Paul George become the centerpiece of their own teams, and in this era, a player with Scottie's ability would almost certainly have had similar opportunities instead of remaining a long-term second option. Back then, players usually stayed with one organization unless they were traded. Today's NBA gives stars far more freedom to decide where they want to play, and that difference matters when comparing generations. That's why I've never believed LeBron was obligated to spend his entire career in Cleveland. Leaving the Cavaliers alone was never the reason I felt he couldn't surpass Jordan in the GOAT debate. My issue was specifically with him joining Dwayne Wade in Miami after Wade had already won a championship and a Finals MVP. That was always my perspective on the situation. But I know that's not why most of you clicked on this video. You're here to hear what Shaq and Chuck had to say about the latest debate, so let's jump right into their comments.
On to yet another team, a different team, a fourth team to win the championship. What would your thoughts be about that?
Well, I think number one, it would be incredible. But the number one knock on LeBron for older guys like myself has always been, yo, man, you always stacking your team. He stacked it in Miami. He stacked it in Cleveland. He stacked it in LA. Now he's stacking it in Philly. So that to me, I'm gonna still have the same criticism I've always had. He's always stacked his team. And people can say what they want to. I've always told people LeBron's the third best player I've ever seen behind Michael and Kobe. You know, when you're dealing with LeBron and the Stepford wives, if you don't say he's the greatest, you could put like blasphemy.
Yeah.
His
I
crew,
know.
if they're like Stepford wives. You have to say he's the greatest. He can't be the second. He can't be the third. That's why I call them Stepford wives. Even the men are Stepford wives. So, listen, LeBron's great, but like I say, my criticism, like, yo, man, he always makes sure he has the best players. And one of the reasons I always give Michael the advantage is Michael got his head beat in by the Pistons and the Celtics before he finally like, no, I'm gonna get bigger, stronger, faster. But it'll be a great accomplishment. But I will tell you this, he did put a bullseye on his back coming to the Sixers because now the Sixers have to win the championship.
What's about that move?
I don't like y'all calling my man a ring chaser.
I didn't call him that.
Okay, I'm just checking. I don't think it's for him. See, it's funny to me that people that don't have rings are saying, oh, he's a ring chaser. No, he's continuance chasing. He's chasing the chance to continue to be great, to continue to add legacy to his book. Listen, he knows, well, he doesn't really know yet, but you know and I know when this thing is over, it's over. You can't come back. Once you retire, once your body says, I can't go no more, it's over. This guy feels he has 2-3 years left. Why not try to get another championship? I did it. I did it with Boston. After I won 3 in a row and then won 1 in Miami, hey, towards the end of my career, let me go play with Paul and KG and, be like the, fourth guy and rebound and set picks and, see if I can win one. And, that's what he's doing. However, I'm anxious to see how this team is going to work. The person I feel sorry for is Tyrese Maxey. And let me tell you why. He came in a regular guy. Joel Embiid was hurt most of the year. Tyrese rose up like, hey, I'm the star. This is my team. Now you bring Jaylen Brown in. Is he going to take a step back? And not only that, you bring LeBron in. Is he going to take another step back? Now Joel comes in shape and he wants to play. He's going to have to revert back to just being a regular guy. And will that affect him? Because he was starting to make a name for himself. I think he made the All-Star team. He was a star. And, sometimes, somebody or one or two people on that team is...
There's a lot to unpack here. But before I share my thoughts, let's hear what Rick Bucher and Brendan Haywood had to say about LeBron. Check this out.
I don't know, man. Rich Paul says differently. Which one of y'all is lying? Who am I to judge? How do I know? How do I know?
Can I say, here's the other thing that people may not realize. For as much as they may think that I am critical of LeBron, and I just came out and was co-signing his choice of Philadelphia. So I don't know where we get, I do nothing but negative on LeBron. There was a couple times where I thought he should have been the MVP of the league when he wasn't voted. Again, don't know why I'm viewed as negative on LeBron. But that said, people in the league, through chats or privately texting with me, talk more trash about LeBron than I ever have. I had one scout after the decision. He goes, "He's the GOAT of chasing the GOAT," which I thought was a great line. But his point being, he's still trying to chase Michael Jordan's status. He feels like he can get another ring in Philadelphia more so than any place else.
And I'm glad you brought that up. That's why I didn't like his decision to come to Philly. Win or lose, it's not going to shift the needle. Because more than likely, let's just say Philly wins a ring, I don't think we think LeBron is going to be the best player. The Jordan supporters are going to be like, no, he got a ring, but it's still...
When I look back at LeBron's career, I think he opened the door to some of these conversations himself. Rich Paul hasn't exactly helped either. Some of the comments made on podcasts about legends like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant have rubbed fans the wrong way. Whether it's questioning Kobe's cultural impact or making comparisons involving Jordan's influence, those remarks have only added fuel to the endless GOAT debate. My biggest issue was never LeBron leaving Cleveland. I always believed he had every right to move on. The problem, for me, was choosing to join Dwayne Wade in Miami while Wade was still in his prime and had already won a championship and Finals MVP. Adding Chris Bosh made that team feel like an instant super team, and many fans felt it was a shortcut to winning a first title. That's why the 2016 championship in Cleveland, as incredible as it was, didn't carry quite the same impact it would have if it had been his very first ring. Winning that title after already becoming a champion in Miami changed how many people viewed his legacy. Now, with LeBron in Philadelphia, I don't see it as him stacking the deck anymore. At this stage of his career, it's more about finding the right basketball fit. Where I disagree with Shaq is on Tyrese Maxey's role. Maxey shouldn't take a step back. He should continue developing as the team's primary ball handler. That's the next stage of his growth, and the only way he'll reach it is by having the ball in his hands and learning through experience. LeBron can still be an elite second or even third option. His passing, leadership, and basketball IQ can make life easier for everyone else without needing to dominate every possession. That's also why I'm not a fan of reports suggesting LeBron will handle point guard duties most of the time. Maxey needs those reps to continue evolving into a complete floor general. That said, LeBron has once again put a spotlight on himself by joining a team expected to compete for the Eastern Conference title. It won't be easy, especially with teams like the Knicks standing in the way, but we'll see how everything unfolds. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.